Welcome back to Cinema Flicks and Music Picks. I'm Davey, your host with the most, the beast with the least. The least I can do today is live up to my promise and say, yes, I will do another video lickety split just after the last one a couple of days ago. So as you might have seen from the thumbnail, we're combining Cinema Flicks and Music Picks. We're going to do an album-y thingamy and a movie-me thingamy. Lots of thingamies. So let's start at the beginning. Frequently a good place to start. Not always my favourite. But we'll go back to, remember last year? Do you remember that? What year was that? 1996? Who knows? We're still in the post-pandemic era where time doesn't really matter anymore. By the way, I'm on my lunch break at work. The pleasures of working from home. It's a nice long lunch, and I just sent everybody away and said, yeah. So this is the Let It Be Super Duper whatever it is. And I've got all the Beatles ones of these and they're great, but I was a little peeved when this came out because we were starting to hear long considered a black sheep in the Beatles catalogue, and I went, what? Excuse me? Or considered by some to be a bit of a mess. What? Who said this? Who? Names, please. So that was really the first that I'd kind of considered that this was considered a black sheep, a bit of a mess, a bit scuzzy, and that's why it's my favourite Beatles album. Because if you follow this channel, you know I'm all about absolute mayhem, pandemonium, chaos, and nonsense. So this is perfect for me. This box set is a 6-discer. It's got the original album with a new mix by Giles Martin. A brilliant mix. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Get Back, the Apple Sessions. Rehearsals and Apple Jams. And then disc 4 is one of the real treasures here. It's the Glyn Johns mix of the original Get Back LP as was supposed to come out. The Let It Be EP is disc 5. Rip-off. Fucking rip-off. Why is that 4 tracks on a CD? But disc 6 is Bluray of the album, and it's fantastic on Bluray. Your soundbars will fall in love with you if you stick it in. I'm telling you. I love the cover as well. I mean, obviously it's the classic cover, but also just die cut, folds out to give you the book, which, excuse me while I kiss this guy, George Harrison, apparently. So I won't do everything in here because, it's been done. It's been done. But, as always with these things, it's the Beatles, so, they tend to do a pretty good job. I'll just flick through a little bit, but, it's the usual kind of thing, great photos, and annotations, and, observations. The little hype thing at the front. We never get rid of our hypes, people. We never get rid of our hypes. Lovely jubbly. It's a terrific book. There's also the Get Back book that accompanies the whole thing. The reason there's a lot of blank space around is because they used exactly the same design format for the LP edition for the first time. Because up until now, the LP versions have skimped on the extras, so they didn't have things like the equivalent of the Apple Jams and whatnot. They just gave you the album. They didn't give you the Blu-ray. For the first time, the Let It Be vinyl has absolutely everything, except for CDs, but it's got everything content-wise. Again, we're not going to do a full unboxing here because it's been done, but this is how they come, in case you haven't seen it. I love this. So again, you can replace this as the front if you prefer to have a kind of alternate Let It Be cover in your die cut. And then you open up, and they're all in their little individual sleeves. So you've got your original album, Apple Jams and Rehearsals, Blu-ray down there, the rip-off EP, and then the Glyn Johns. So let's have a look at Glyn. So for those that don't know, this was originally supposed to be the album and the album art, Get Back. It's been repurposed, of course, to be used on the the Red Blue albums, you know, where they use the early shot and then the later shot. So with Don't Let Me Down and 12 other songs, well, as we know, they did let us down because Don't Let Me Down isn't on the album. But this, fantastically, gives you the original Glenn Johns version as would have been and nearly was. So it's very different, actually. It's One After 909, a medley with I'm Ready, Save the Last Dance for Me, and Don't Let Me Down. Kind of breaks down, and then it goes into the actual version of Don't Let Me Down. Dig a Pony, I Got a Feeling, Get Back, For You Blue, Teddy Boy, which was never even done by the Beatles. As we know, Paul would record it for was it McCartney? It was just McCartney, wasn't it, his first album? Two of Us, Maggie May, Dig It, Let It Be, Along and Winding Roads, and Get Back. Now this has been long sought after, much bootlegged, etc, etc. Not been released standalone, but I bet your bottom dollar this will be released as a standalone soon. Now that this has been out for a while, I'm sure this will be a record store day thing and blah 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 blah. This will not be left to sit. So here's the thing though, it's not very good. The running order is terrible. The medley is a joke. It's just a farce. The running order itself just doesn't work. I do not like things like Dig a Pony going into I Got a Feeling, and the idea of putting Let It Be going into the Long and Winding Road. It's the same song, folks. It's the same yeah, okay, it's a different song, but it's the same sentiment. It's a big piano ballad from Paul. I mean, it would be like doing those two and then sticking Maybe I'm Amazed on the end. Come on now. However, historically fascinating, and if anything, it makes me appreciate the actual album even more. But we'll go into that in a second. And then we've got some. We're not going to go into all the rehearsal stuff and everything. This is the rip-off, though. This is your Apple EP. This has only got Don't Let Me Down, a new mix of the original single version, Let It Be, and what are the other two tracks? I think what's happening in the back. So Across the Universe, unreleased Glenn Johns mix. Apparently they couldn't fit that anywhere else. I Me Mine, unreleased Glenn Johns mix. Don't Let Me Down, new mix of the original single, and Let It Be, new mix of the original single. That's all that's on this whole fucking disc. That is such a rip. And by the way, you do not get the complete Rooftop Show. So why was the Rooftop Show not on this disc as well? That could have fit. Well, we know the answer, because Apple are going to release the Rooftop Show separately. Probably as a record store day thing, and then on a deluxe version, blah 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 blah. And you know what we'll do? Buy it. Because it's the Rooftop concert. But yeah, so I'll put this back in, just so you see how it looks with the die cut reversed, because it does look quite groovy. It is kind of odd seeing Let It Be with different art. Whoops, it is it. From bean to cup, I fuck it up. Right. And I'm back at work in 25 minutes, so, you know. And I've not eaten anything legal. So yeah, look at that. Kind of alternate version of the album. That's pretty cool. I do love that. Do I need to review Let It Be by the Beatles? I love it. I love the scuzzy nature. The in-between song chatter. You know, I Dig a Pygmy by Charles Hawtrey and the Deaf Aids. I love all that stuff. Two of Us is one of my favourite Beatles songs. A great song about friendship. And when we go into this movie in just a moment, we'll talk about it. Obviously, Across the Universe. I don't care if people think this version's overblown. I love it to bits. And it's better than that one with all the bird song and stuff. Dig It. I have a great time with it. We're like a BBC, like BB King. I Me Mine, obviously, fantastic. It's one of George's best. I Me Mine. You know, For You Blue. Get Back is just such an amazing closer. Just such an amazing closer. Long and Winding Roads, Long and Winding Road sitting on its own here between One After 909 and For You Blue. It's much, much better. You do not need two massive ballads on this album like that Glenn Johns version. But my favourite track on this by far is I Got a Feeling Deep Inside. Oh yeah. And Mac has been playing it live recently, with footage of John on the big screens and doing it as a duet from Beyond the Grave. Wonderful stuff. I mean, it just goes on, and it could go on for another 10 minutes because I just love it to bits. You know, when Paul's really screaming the vocals, and then John's doing the everybody had a hard year, everybody had a wet dream. Oh, that could just... So yeah, Let It Be by the Beatles. I think it's their best record. What do you think? Do you think I'm nuts? Because my second favourite is the White Album, and my third favourite is Abbey Road. So I do like a bit of variety in my Beatles. You know, I don't want to listen to the early rock and roll covers over this. I don't want to listen to Hey Mr. Postman when I could be listening to I Got a Feeling or She's So Heavy from Abbey Road. Or I don't know. I'm so tired, I don't know what to do. Later Beatles, come on folks. But to do the cinema flicks aspect, then comes Along Came Jones, then comes the movie, or miniseries from Peter Jackson, Get back to where you once belong. And I saw a few people posting the DVD version of this, and I was like, no, that looks crap. But you know, I was delighted when the Blu-ray turned up. It's on a lovely arrow-like hard box, and look at that picture, that's even better, from the rooftop. And unlike the box set of the album, the rooftop concert's in here in full. So when you open it up, look how nice this is. This'll do. So you're presented with the back, the front, and it's not just, you know, it's magnetically held down with a magnet. Most good magnetically things are. And then opens up to reveal its gifts. There they are. That is the Fab Four, of course. Jim, Pat, Jerry, and Bongo. And then that folds out to give us some more shots. And then the discs are just, you know, nothing to write home about. But, you know, if you've got nothing else to write home about, you might as well mention it. But, you know, it's nice to have them all individual like that. And then that's cool. It gives you the actual diary of the recording slots for where they did the album. And over here, you even get a bit of swag, which I didn't know was included. Because what I always say, folks, it's only deluxe if you get postcards or a poster. That's what makes deluxe, if you look up in the dictionary. So there's Jerry again. Bongo. Pat, looking bored. And Jim, looking stoned. So, there we go, that's the swag. So 4 nice little postcards of John, Paul, oh sorry, I used the real names there. Whoops. Only the names have been changed to protect the Beatles. This is a sensational document of any band, not just for Beatles fans. I've told people who aren't even Beatles fans, just watch this as a portrait of 4 people going through very difficult times and changing times. It's a remarkable piece of work. I mean, I have the Let It Be movie on Laserdisc, and I mean, first of all, the picture quality's terrible, the editing's bad. Michael Lindsay Hogg's a great director, but I don't think he knew what he was doing with the Beatles. I don't think he had a story to tell, and he never had room to tell the story either, because, you know, the story wasn't quite done yet, as we know. It would be soon after. But now that we know the story and the history of the Beatles, we can see things for ourselves in glimpses and glances from them that we wouldn't have picked up on at the time. I mean, there's, you know, again, I don't need to review the whole thing because it's been done to death, but one of the greatest things in here is the end of episode 1, is it? Episode 2? Where it looks as though, I think it is episode 2, it looks as though John and George have both left the band. Kaput. And Paul has been really pushy, so to kind of keep them together, but it has to be to actually keep them together. So what happens is they leave. That's Paul on the phone there. Actually, if you watch it, Ryan, it's you. They leave, and Paul kind of realizes this is the end, and the camera stays on him the whole time, and Paul has a little tear in his eye, and kind of quietly says, not to the camera or anything, because they'd kind of forgotten they were being filmed for most of this. Hello again. Paul says, and then there were two, and then there were two, and I cry a little bit, and then I cry a little bit more, because he's got this big Paul McCartney, that big Paul McCartney eyes thing going on, and but what a sensational document. And then that makes it so much more celebratory when Billy Preston turns up, and they go back to Apple, and they soundproof it, and they say, let's do it in here instead, and everybody's on form, and Yoko's having a laugh, and Linda's hanging about there, and young Heather's running about doing Yoko impressions. John is so into it at this point. George is having a laugh. You get to see things like John helping George out on tracks that would then be on All Things Must Pass. This is just musical history. It doesn't matter if you're a Beatles fan or not, this is musical history. You're getting to see what has long been regarded as, this is the horrible breakup sessions. You're getting to see the actual friendships still there. So you're getting to see we are drifting apart, we're married, settled down, kids, we're not touring, so we're not living in each other's pockets, we've got different interests, but we've been together since we were teenagers, so obviously we know the next year things would get rather hairy with Abco and whatnot, and the Eastmans when they get involved, and blah blah blah. Paul has to say that he's going one way, the Beatles say they're going the other, but it's actually John that dissolves the band, even though the press made it seem that Paul did it, and blah, blah, blah. But hey, that's for another documentary. This is just essential stuff, and again, if you're a Beatles fan, you already own it probably. If you're not a Beatles fan, I'd still buy it. I really would, because it's just a fantastic documentary regardless of subject matter. A fantastic piece on a fantastically creative band trying their hardest to remain that way in spite of everything, in spite of all the outside influences. And you get to see bonkers things like the ideas they come up with for what the special should be. Obviously we know it will be a rooftop performance. At one point they were going to do something that we know Pink Floyd would do, which was the kind of Pompeii. They were going to do some ridiculous, like they were going to take a boatload of fans over and just play in big Colosseum type places, and you think it's a bit different from just jumping up on the roof. But wowee. I mean, it's on Disney Plus, but this Blu-ray looks absolutely stupendous. And this way you don't need to support fucking Disney. Bastards. So, yeah, again, I'm not going to go into too much depth on either one of these, because this is Let It Be by the Beatles. I'm pretty sure you know if you like it or not. And this is Get Back, the documentary of the last year. So, yeah. If you don't have them, get them. If you don't like the big box set thing, at least try the new Jailers Martin remix, because oh my gosh, this is sensational. Talk about She's So Heavy from Abbey Road. Everything on here that's heavy is just, but the subtleties are more subtle, but the heaviness is more heavy. Oh, Giles, you do your father proud. And notably there's no Let It Be Naked included here, so sorry Paul. But yeah, the liner notes from Paul are quite interesting too, because he still says he feels it's a very compromised project. So he's being true to himself. You know, he's not saying that, oh well, now I know it's a classic. I mean, he has kind words for it by saying, look, it doesn't belong to me anymore. It's the fans' album now. It's out. So bless him. So yeah, just a wee video, only 20 minutes. Tide you over. So. Thanks very much for watching, folks. I'm away to have some scran, some lunch, and then I'll jump back on to work. Okie dokie. Well, you know the drill. Stay very safe out there. For me. And love and mercy, my friends. Love and indeed mercy. Take it easy.